Gardner, Kansas. There we go. Sorry about that. You awake now? Yes. Call the meeting to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Well, welcome everyone. Okay, we have no presentations this evening, no public hearings. So at this time, I would like to welcome members of the public. Use this time to make comments about city matters that are not part of a public hearing. If you wish to come forward, please limit your comments to 5 minutes or less. There's a 5-minute time clock on your left, on my right. No profanity, no personal attacks. With that being said, come forward and state your name and address for the record. No one coming forward. We'll move to the consent agenda. Is there a councilman that would like to remove an item from the consent agenda?
I'd like to remove consent agenda item number 5, please.
Is there a motion to approve items 1 through 4 and 6 through 8?
So moved. Second.
Motion Baldwin, second Shoot, that we approve consent agenda items 1 through 4 and 6 through 8. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstain? Councilman Shoot.
Yes. We'll read the.
Consider authorizing the execution of a lease contract to replace 2 specialty vehicles.
Okay, and I just wanted to get some answers on exactly what the nature of the vehicles are, because it's not obviously apparent in the agenda itself, but I just wanted to ask Gons a couple of questions about those vehicles and whether or not, as part of the lease purchase program, is it a lease purchase or is it just a straight up lease?
The vehicles, we call them service bucket trucks, are the small bucket trucks you see around the city. They're the ones that we use for most services. We also have the bigger bucket trucks, which is especially for doing distribution lines.
Yeah.
But we're going to be replacing the service trucks,
Okay.
which are
These-
those
these
small
the-
bucket trucks.
The medium duty ones, not the cherry pickers, right?
Excuse me?
These are the medium duty trucks, not the cherry pickers, right?
No, this is a medium. Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Thank you. That's all I had.
Any further questions?
Oh, I did have a question. I'm sorry. I did ask about the whether or not these were lease purchase or are they just on a term lease?
On the term lease, but it includes maintenance on the vehicles,
Thank you.
except for normal wear and tear.
All right, super. Thank you.
Any further questions?
Okay.
All right. Is there a motion to approve a consent agenda item number 5?
So moved.
Second.
Motion to approve, Shoot. Second Baldwin. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, abstain. Consent agenda item number 5 passes. Okay, nothing on planning and zoning consent agenda. No committee recommendations. No old business. Go to new business. New business item number 1. Consider adopting a resolution approving the execution and delivery of a second amended and restated development agreement for development project within the city Grata Development. Finance Director Wolf.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. At the October 19, 2020 meeting, Council adopted Resolution Number 2068, authorizing the execution and delivery of the first amended and restated development agreement with Grata Development for a mixed-use development located at 175th Street and Clare Road. The proposed resolution would authorize the execution and delivery of a second amended and restated agreement. The main changes included in this agreement are: it removes the developer's de-annexation remedy. It removes the issuance of CID bonds and the payment of associated interest. Increases the common CID cap to allow for additional reimbursable expense in lieu of interest. It also clarifies infrastructure milestones in regards to phasing. Please note, the city's bond counsel, Tyler Ellsworth of Kutak Rock, is here tonight. If you have any detailed questions on the development agreement, he'd be happy to answer them. Also, please note that the increases to the common CID cap are to allow additional reimbursable expenses in lieu of interest. It's considered a neutral change to the overall level of incentives to the developer. It is staff's recommendation that you adopt the proposed resolution.
Thank you, Matt. Tyler, do you want to add anything to that before we open it up? Okay.
I do, thank you.
Welcome.
Good evening.
Welcome this evening.
Evening, Mayor and Council. I only wanted to reiterate a point that Matt just made, and that is that the development agreement before you this evening that you're being asked to consider really does have no net financial impact to the city. The existing agreement provides for reimbursement to the developer of principal and interest for certain project costs. And what we've done is we have increased the principal component, but we've taken the interest component away. And we feel strongly that the new agreement is the economic equivalent of the existing agreement. So happy to answer any additional questions, but just wanted to make that crystal clear.
Thank you.
Yeah.
At this time, we'll open it up to public comment. Okay, no one coming forward. Council.
Yeah, Tyler, don't sit down yet. Come on up. So I heard from Matt, and it's good. I'm glad that we're getting these provisions clarified on from the standpoint of milestones and development, achievements, key posts, whatever. I just wanted to kind of have you explain to the council a little bit about how this is going to benefit the agreement and clarify that relationship, and also how this will basically lock the city and Grata into a long-term relationship.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good question. In any development agreement where the city is providing an economic incentive to a private partner like Grata in this case, we have milestones, and the existing agreement had milestones for the city to complete certain infrastructure improvements and for Grata to phase certain residential improvements and to complete certain infrastructure that they were responsible for. Now that we're 2 years into the life of this agreement, coming up on 2.5 years of the very original deal that we struck, it made sense to kind of clarify some of those milestones because the city has largely completed a lot of the infrastructure that it's obligated for. Grata has as well. And so we sort of wanted to memorialize where we were in that process. The other thing that was important to the city was to remove the de-annexation remedy, which was a remedy that Grata had early on in the event that the city failed to perform its infrastructure. If there was no infrastructure that the city put in or it was delinquent, Grata had that remedy. We've taken that out. And then the other piece was the piece we've already touched on, which is really trying to provide an economic equivalent to the interest component that we're taking away. So does that answer your question?
Absolutely. I just wanted to make sure that was for the record, and I do see Kurt Peterson in the back. Hi, Kurt. Good seeing you here. So I'm glad to know that we are having a very good and positive dialogue between us and Grata. So thank you.
Yes.
Nope, that's it for me.
Well, thank you for the work on this. I know it's been a lot of work, but I know, as a governing body, we're excited to work with Grata, and as Steve mentioned, a long-term relationship, and we look forward to working with them quite a bit in the future. So it's going to be a great thing for the city of Gardner. Good partnership. Absolutely. Okay. With that being said, do I have a motion for new business item number 1?
So moved. Second.
Motion Shute, second Baldwin, that we adopt resolution number 2101, resolution of the City of Gardner, Kansas, approving the execution and delivery of a second amended and restated development agreement for a development project within the city, Grata Development. City Clerk?
Councilmember Potter?
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin?
Yes.
Councilmember Deaton?
Yes.
Councilmember Roberts?
Yes.
Councilmember Shute?
Yes.
New business item number 1 passes. Thank you. New business item number 2, consider authorizing the execution of a contract for Substation 4 site location, land acquisition, and preliminary design. Gons Garcia.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. In 2006, Mears Engineering performed a electric master plan for the city that included a new substation along Cedar Niles Road. Due to the series of annexations over the past several years, or a couple of years, now the current city limits have been extended to 199th Street. In order to accommodate the growth in this area, we need to start looking at a new substation. So late last year, we solicited requests for qualifications to identify the most qualified firm that can do this work. A selection committee was formed, and we received RFQs from Finley Engineering, Aqua Wolf, HDR, Olson, and Sargent and Lundy. The committee reviewed the qualifications. They scored the information provided, and they agreed that Olson was very qualified and had a good project understanding and relevant experience. So we went ahead and requested for Olson to provide us a proposal for the new substation. So they're proposing two phases. Phase one, which is identifying the site location. Where is that substation? Where do we need to place a substation on that growth area? And the second one is a preliminary design to give us the call for constructing the substation. There's an exhibit that shows the existing limits. So the substation will be somewhere along that triangle. We're not sure where. We're trying the part of the studies to identify what's the optimum location for the substation. The other thing that makes this project a little harder is that we don't have properties that have been annexed to the city. So in order to provide service, electric service, the process that we followed is we annex a property, then we go to Evergy and request to service the area. Not knowing or not having enough annexed properties, I'm not sure if Evergy is gonna grant us a blank check. Basically, you can go whatever you want. So I think something that we need to start looking is start annexing properties so we can request to service that area in the future. Right now, we cannot do that. But the intent of the project was to identify that location so we can start looking at building a substation in the near future. Short term, I think we have enough capacity from sub 1 to feed, to extend our feed and service certain parcels. But if we develop the entire area, we will need a substation. I just want to point that out. Austin Uniman from Olson is here if you have any questions about their proposal.
Thank you, guys. We'll open it up to public comment. You're welcome to come to the side.
My name's Austin Juniman, 809 167th Terrace. I work with Olson. I just want to reiterate we're excited to partner with the city for this project and the preliminary design. Like I said, we went through the RFQ process and we're excited that we won. I know I'm excited because I live in Gardner, and having an impact on a project like this for the community is huge. So, yeah, just want to say thank you.
Great, yeah, great. Okay, questions from council? Mark?
Everybody's looking at Mark.
I'm good.
Okay, I have a question. What kind of a cost range might we be looking at for the substation construction? Super ballpark level.
So using substation 3, which is along Waverly in the north end, that was about close to $3.5–4 million.
So you're saying 8 in today's economy?
Yes. If we
Back
can-
then, that was 2006, and I think the property was owned by the city. So this will be a green field, so I estimating 4.5, maybe 5.
Yeah. Do we have an idea approximately of, I know we had talked about just south of I-35, somewhere along that corridor. We figured out an approximate area as to where we might put this, or is this something that we really can't talk about because that might have to do with land acquisition?
The only thing I can say is that there's a transmission line that crosses, it will be about 183rd Street.
Yep.
So we need to connect to that transmission line.
Okay.
So it can be north or south of that transmission line.
Okay, good.
All right. Do we have a motion, new business item number 2?
So moved.
Second.
Motion Baldwin, second Deaton, to authorize the city administrator to execute a contract with Olson Inc. in the amount of $130,970 for the site, location, land acquisition, and preliminary design of substation 4. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstain? New business item number 2 passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gons.
Thanks, Gons.
New business item number 3. Consider accepting a voluntary annexation with landowner consent. Mr. Prudy.
Good evening. This is a tract of land. If you're facing McDonald's from the front, there's just to the east is a tree line and a utility crossing. On the other side of that is 44 acres owned by the Gilmore Johnson family, and that's already in the city. So past that to the east, bounded by the highway, is 66 acres. And they submitted a voluntary annexation request, so there's some continuity in the land that they own. So staff's recommendation is to accept the voluntary annexation of Jean Louise Gilmore, Arnold Johnson, and Lynn Johnson, and adopt ordinance number 2726.
Thanks, Jim. Question, public? Questions from council?
Glad that we're securing that in the city.
Absolutely. Okay. Is there a motion for new business item number 3?
So moved. Second.
Motion Deaton, second Baldwin.
There you go.
Do we accept the voluntary consent annexation request of the Jean Louise Gilmore, Arnold E. Johnson, and Lynn A. Johnson property and adopt ordinance number 2726, an ordinance annexing land into the city of Gardner, Kansas? City Clerk?
Councilmember Baldwin,
Yes.
Councilmember Deaton,
Yes.
Councilmember Roberts,
Yes.
Councilmember Shute,
Yes.
Councilmember Potter,
Yes.
New business item number 3 passes. Okay, that concludes new business. Move on to council updates. Why don't we start with Chief Belcher?
Just want to thank everyone who pushed snow for the city at the last event. They did an amazing job.
Yes.
We had a lot of snow coming down, and what a great job from Kellen and Jason and anybody else who pushed snow. I just wanted to thank you guys. It made it a lot better for our people out there. Much appreciated.
And I want to particularly thank Kellen for the fact that in our cul-de-sac this time, it hasn't happened before, but in our cul-de-sac they pushed all the snow right into the center area instead of putting it on the side and knocking over people's mailboxes. That was really nice, and I want to just thank you for having that done.
I'll pass that along to the street crew.
Oh no, it's beautiful because the kids just love that. It's sliding down it, sledding hill, So, good job.
All right. Yeah, thank you so much. City Clerk Sharon Rose.
Yes, earlier I handed out the, interview teams to all of the various committees, and
Yes.
you do see we do have some vacancies due to some changeover on the council. So, we do need to fill those positions.
Yep.
And get those interview teams set up so we can continue to, fill boards and committees.
Yes, and can we go ahead and proceed with the, there's 2 committees we need, ex officio council, and I've spoken with Councilman Shute and Councilman Van Potter. Councilman Shute, I believe you'd be okay with doing the EDAC committee, is that correct?
Yeah.
And Councilman Van Potter with the Parks and Rec?
Yeah.
Got big shoes to fill. I heard the last guy was pretty good. Thank you, though. I think that covers all our ex officio.
Yes, and then we still have,
Interview
open
teams.
positions on the interview teams for the Citizens Police Advisory and the Parks Advisory and the Utility Commission.
We want to
But
go
that's
through.
just for interviews.
So which openings are there, Sharon? I mean, which
The
people haven't?
Citizens Police Advisory, the Parks, and Utilities.
Okay,
I'm
so,
still on utilities, right?
yeah, that's what I was asking. So we have 2 interview team members on those committees, so which slots are open for
Just
those?
for interview teams.
Yeah, but I mean,
Police,
which ones are we trying to fill, I'm saying?
Police, Parks, and Utility.
Okay.
And we need one on each of those?
One on each of those.
One on each of those.
I'll
Okay.
do police.
I can do utility.
Parks, anyone?
I could do parks.
Excellent.
You are,
Are you already on Parks? No, she's not
We
already.
should have like 2 for each, at least 2 for each.
Yeah,
I'm only on one.
Okay.
You, on this list, you're on 2, Tori. You've got planning and public works accessible.
But on the interview committee, I'm only on planning commission interview committee.
there are 2
you
different.
must be on Public Works as well.
Yeah, because
Oh.
you're
You're already
the
on public
ex
works.
officio is
Oh,
automatic.
have we had any interviews for those? No.
Not recently.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, then somebody else can do it. I don't, I guess I'm on.
I think that puts us all to 2.
So who was the
Yeah.
second one on Parks?
I'll do parks.
Go to Parks as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're already on the ex officio, so you're.
Oh,
You're already on.
Oh, okay.
See,
Yeah,
filled the left column, now we need the right column.
the ex officio is automatically on the interview team, correct?
Councilman
So-
Roberts, if you'd like to still do that one, I guess
Well, no, I mean, I don't want to overstep, so if anybody else wants to do it.
I think it's yours for the taking if you'd like.
Since everybody's fighting over it, I'll do it.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah.
Mike.
And if you could resend that again, that'd be great.
Yeah.
We'll all be on track.
That's all.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you so much.
Speaking of which, when are we going to have the planning commission interviews?
Yeah,
As soon as I can get them scheduled with all the
Okay.
committee members.
I think we were maybe concerned you were out of town this week, so we kind of held off on some of that. But yeah.
I had given 2 weeks prior, multiple days, so
Oh,
that I
That's
was
fine.
available.
nope, I'm available every evening, so let's just get it done.
When I said I'll just send out the emails and you can respond with your.
Yep.
availability.
Perfect.
all right.
Yep.
Excellent.
Yep.
Finance Director Wolf.
Nothing tonight.
Okay. Deputy Administrator Aston.
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Okay. City Attorney Ryan Dank. Honorable. Yes.
Esquire.
Okay. Utilities, Gons Garcia. Parks and Rec, Jason Bruce.
Doing a lot of seasonal interviews, taking advantage of the kids being out of school last few
Mhm.
days, so it's been a revolving door here. Also gearing up for, believe it or not, baseball and soccer season right around the corner, so making preparations for that.
Excellent. Awesome. Community Development.
Just have planning commission meeting next Monday evening. We do have a number of items on the agenda for that meeting. Other than that, there's nothing else to report.
Public Works.
Nothing else tonight.
How about we start with
Yep.
Council Presidents. Oh, I forgot you, didn't I?
So
All right.
the mayor and I traveled to Topeka last week on Thursday following our Monday update from KDOT, and we met with KDOT. Still advocating for access points. Didn't make a lot of headway is probably the nicest way to say it. Other than we ran into a brick wall and then they pushed it over on us, but it was we got significant pushback on just us trying to advocate for those access points. So we'll continue at the staff level and see what headway we can make.
Because I personally think that we should have all access points to all those businesses. So,
Well,
I
at
mean,
one point, we were told that we could go back to design and not do the diverging diamond, and that it would take years to get back to that point. So that's the kind of meeting it was.
They have the leverage, unfortunately.
And it's there right away. I mean, it's there. But we'll keep.
Is there any compromise on if we don't do the median temporarily until both sides have developed further?
So that's something that Kellen and Tim are working on with our local contacts. They did have meetings after the meeting Todd and I had with Olathe RV and I believe Olathe Health, and they made some progress from the business side on what they would accept. But there's going to be a lot of discussion to follow up on that.
Yeah, at this point, we've had individual meetings with pretty much all of the major kind of stakeholders around both ends of the interchange with KDOT and their designers. So at this point, KDOT and the design team has received all of the input from all of the people involved, and they are intending to kind of come back with whatever might be in the realm of possible for compromise, if any is possible.
So they need more pushing. Got it.
Well, at one point, Todd started to discuss the intersection at 435 and Row, and they were having none of that. So we didn't even look at the map.
Oh, yeah, we never did that.
No, it was more like the locals' knee-jerk reaction is always to look at other areas that may fit what they want. That was the comment.
Well, that's kind of natural, isn't it? I mean, I mean, you want to show an example that actually proves your position.
So how many of them actually live in Gardner?
The two people we met with are officed in Topeka, so I'm assuming that neither one of them do. One of them that was there is the District 1, I believe he's the manager. He was on the call Monday without video. But he was present. So.
Mm-hmm.
We'll still work.
Yeah, still trying to push forward.
So it's them telling us what color they're going to paint our kitchen because they're paying for it.
We're partially paying for it.
That's, yeah.
Can they start work without us signing off on it? Do we have to agree to all this, or can they just be like, sorry, you don't agree, we're doing it?
So I believe we've agreed in principle to do this a couple years ago, and we're responsible for right-of-way acquisition, utility relocation. They're responsible for construction. So, I mean, I believe we committed to the project 2 years ago. Is that right, Kellen? And we are, I believe, 30, 40% through design. And so that's why we're at the point now where they're doing site visits and things of that nature.
I think the funding agreements are already there.
But I did get the impression that they don't believe that the ultimate build-out is going to take place for at least 10, 15 years. It's not, they're going to let this project for the single bridge deck in October of 23, and construction will start in 24. I don't think they have any plans of doing anything before 2035 on the diverging dock. Because we talked about ways that we could possibly accelerate the project, and there was none of that. So.
Well, even if you don't do the entire build out, once you start in 2024, that impacts Phillips immediately because they're going to take that they're going to put that sidewalk and everything right there.
Right.
And then if they put the median in at the final grade of the single bridge, then we're back to the only way you can get to Olathe Health is coming south on I-35.
Well, I think the access now is pivoted to 188th, and who's going to build that access road versus us trying to save the 189th Street or 189th Terrace access.
I mean, if KDOT's going to pay for the road.
Yeah.
And I at one point brought up, can we delay some of the median and those things?
Right.
And the sense I got was, well, if do, then it's just pushing it down the line, and then they're going to be really upset then. And is that kind of the feedback you got?
Yeah.
Well, that's
It's better
true.
to just do it and.
But if you're at 2024 and you take 2 years to build out, and you don't even touch the other till 2020 or 2035, 10 years later. I mean, that's plenty of time to have that median be open and allow Olathe Health to develop, and between the city and us, get a road to them, and for the west side to do whatever changes they're going to do on the business model.
I'm telling you, it's going to
zero flexibility, and I think that was the purpose. I think there was some irritation with us going up there. I really do. I mean, I think that they thought that, you know, because we were introduced by our local senator.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In the area.
and it was one of those, yeah, you're not gonna get anywhere with that.
Well, I think that's a little ridiculous because the folks in Overland Park do it all the time, but that's beside the point. And for them to say that it, you know, they're not going to have a diverging diamond there for 10 plus years is also equally ludicrous, given the fact that they don't have any idea as to how fast that area is growing, and it's growing a lot faster than their models are saying. So,
I don't know, Todd, did you get that impression, the timeline?
Yeah, probably so, but I think everything's fluid, though. I mean, you know, what they say or think now could change. 6
posturing and
months, a year.
negotiation, guys.
You know,
That's what it
it's-
is.
I think we'll keep working with them. I think.
Yeah.
I think it was an individual versus an agency issue, so we'll just try to work through it.
I think as long as we're thinking about the business owners and our citizens,
Yep.
I think that's good. But what was presented didn't seem like that was a good fit for any of us, in my opinion.
Okay, thank you. Anything else?
Nope.
Start with Council President.
I'm too mad to talk now. I don't have anything.
Council Vice President.
I'm almost equally as mad right now, but I'll hold my powder for next meeting.
Councilwoman Deeb.
Just thanks again for the
Mhm.
snow plowing.
Yeah.
That was a heavier than normal snow, and I had to go to work, and so I was driving all around Overland Park, and when I got home, I was like, we did a good job. We're
Mhm.
better than everybody else around, so thank you guys.
That's great. Councilman Potter.
I second that. I had to drive around the north part too, and when I got back, I was like, all right. We got our stuff together.
Dang, they knocked my mailbox over.
That's specific to you.
Yeah, that was on
That's an individual, rather
issue,
than
not
a.
We're way up in the yard.
Councilwoman Roberts.
I have nothing. Thanks for asking.
I don't think I have anything either. So, with that, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion, shoot. Second, Deaton. We adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?